As the country is waiting for Raila's declaration, William Ruto is doing everything within his reach to make sure that Raila does not join Rigathi camp, because he knows very well that the day the lake meets the mountain, that will be the end of William Samuel Ruto. So he has launched a series of activities to ensure that he wipes the emotions of the people of Nyanza, to widen the deliberate rivalry, the deliberate political rivalry that began from independence between Jomo Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. One of the things that William Ruto is doing, he has sent several leaders who are now looking at every trivial activity, every trivial statement from Mount Kenya, and they're reminding the people of Lakeside that these people are not your friends. Take, for example, when Raila failed to capture the AU seat. Can you imagine they were telling us that because some people celebrated, that is reason enough not to vote or join hands with them? And when you look at the counter narrative, that because William Ruto allowed Raila Odinga to drive in the same vehicle with him, so that is the highest respect that he accorded Raila, and therefore we need to vote for him. Now, I want us to look at some of the things that the deep state, and by extension, I believe the NIS, is doing to wipe emotions. One of the things that they have done is that they have released certain statements that were made by Rigathi and his allies. And truth be told, sometimes when the shoe is on the other side and you feel that you are enjoying the trappings of power, you really need to be very careful, because in less than 1 year or two, you might find yourself looking for the very people you are trashing, you are attacking. I want you to listen to some of these videos that have been deliberately released, where Rigathi and his allies were telling Raila, you are unacceptable in Mount Kenya. The people of Mount Kenya cannot elect you. And even going further, some of them were saying, we need to arrest Raila, that is after the election, because nothing will happen. Let no one cheat you. That Raila is so big, let us arrest him. The sun will rise from the east and set to the west. As usual, nothing will happen. And such statements, I can assure you, when Raila supporters listen to them, the emotions run high, and they swear, they continue swearing that no, we can never support Wamunyoro. Can you listen?
Na sisi tungetaka kuambia Raila na wengine na wale wanapanga waheshimu Mkikuyu. Nyinyi akina Murathe, akina Atwoli, stop cheating Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is unacceptable to the people of Central Kenya, come rain, come shine. Hiyo ni maneno yawezekani. Na sisi tunaunga Rais Kenyatta mkono kwa mambo yote. Ile analeta bunge, mambo ya kahawa na nini, hiyo yote tunakubali. Lakini mambo ya Raila Odinga, hiyo tumeshindwa. Tumejaribu na tumejaribu, imekuwa ngumu.
We have to say enough is enough. And this is why we are asking on this floor whether one, Raila Amolo Odinga, is above the law, Madam Speaker. I urge the police and the president, arrest the man. Let's see what will happen. What will happen? People will go to bed. People will go to sleep. People will go on with whatever they are doing, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to remind this House. Madam Speaker, I want to remind this House that we cannot at every day talk about this side of the minority. Madam Speaker, when we talk about heckling, yeah, they brought about the motion. Madam Speaker, we want them to be investigated. We want everybody. And they're even cowards. They are doing demonstration inside KICC, where there is a protection area. Get out of the streets if you're real and you want to do these demonstrations. They had to eat for Baba. Nobody could walk without Baba. And that's what I'm saying. He is the reason why some people died on that day. He is the reason why our people lost their properties. He is the reason why that people did not go on with their businesses, Madam Speaker. We want that man arrested, and you know the sun will come from that side and will go to the other side, and nothing will happen, Madam Speaker.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, talk to some of the supporters of Raila Amolo Odinga. When they listen, because if you look at social media, there are several bloggers that are releasing, such videos just to remind the Raila supporters that this is the kind of hatred that Mount Kenya has for Raila Amolo Odinga. And then they ask, can they support Raila Odinga? In fact, there is this argument that if Raila Amolo Odinga would change camp and support Wamunyoro, some of them would come back to William Ruto. The question that maybe I want to ask you, if Raila contests today and they are in the ballot with William Ruto, whom do you think Mount Kenya will vote for? I have tried to engage my friends, experts, those who come from that area. Their people are divided. There are those who are saying that indeed William Ruto has become a common enemy. And Mount Kenya, some of them are telling me even in the channel that anything, not even anybody, anything that will stand against William Ruto will be elected by the Mount Kenya people. But some are saying that they are not very sure whether when now push comes to shove and they realize that indeed this is a Gwambo on the ballot, they will say, this man is not acceptable in our region. And such kind of statements, ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that those statements were very, very strong. You know that politics is very emotive, and we play a very tribal kind of politics, where you have your man, these people have their man, Luos have Raila, and I realize I've just said that the Kisis have got Matiani, Kambas have got Kalonzo, Rigathi has taken over Mount Kenya, the Kales have William Ruto, Western, I don't know, Mudavadi, Tangula, Urna Tembea, but we try to, go within our tribal cocoons and we hide around the tribes, sometimes to commit crimes, sometimes to justify illegalities. So that is what is happening. But I want you to listen to this statement from William Ruto, because the people from the mountain are being reminded of what Rigathi and his allies said. But they are forgetting that when Rigathi and William Ruto were in the same coalition and they were friends, it is not only Rigathi who spoke. It was William Ruto too who was not left out. Kindly listen to this.
Tumemwambia bwana kitendawili, nyinyi mumezoea tabia mbaya, na kwa sababu wamezoea hiyo tabia mbaya wanaleta fujo ati nyoingie kwa serikali. Walikuja wakaletea fujo Moi akawapatia cooperation. Wakakuja wakasumbua Kibaki wakaenda na nusu mkate. Wakakuja wakazungusha Uhuru wakaenda na handshake. Hii serikali ya mahasla hii iko hiyo maneno kweli? Hii ya mahasla hakuna handshake, hakuna nusu mkate. Mtu ya kitendawili kazi ambayo tumebakisha ni kuweka yeye kwa wheelbarrow mpaka Bondo. Hakuna kazi nyingine imebaki. Ama mnasemaje? Ajira ya hawa vijana. Niko kanatiko. Tunaelewana? So we are telling our friends, we can negotiate on many things, but we cannot negotiate on two things. We cannot negotiate on a handshake or nusumkate, and we cannot negotiate on violence. Violence must stop, and there is no nusumkate, and there is no handshake.
I was talking to some of the very strong supporters of Raila Amolo Odinga, and they're telling me that if you listen to the statements from William Ruto, they are political in nature, but the ones of Rigathi and his allies are personal. That is the level of hatred that we have birthed in our country. But let me tell you, if people have to move on, then we have to forget the past. Somehow, just we cannot continue reviving the past if we have to move on, because even for Raila Amolo Odinga to support William Ruto, there are things that he has to bury. That's why they say they have to bury the hatchet. Number one, they have to bury the fact that William Ruto killed their supporters, the Azimio supporters, during the demonstration. They were retrieved from their houses. But if you ask those who want to drive a narrative, they will tell you that it was Gachagua who was in charge of the police who was killing them. Yet we all know that the commander-in-chief that was and is still in control of the police and the military was and is still William Samoei Ruto. But I'm just saying that we need to forget some of these things, because now they have chosen to forget what William Ruto said and justify that they were political, but those of Rigathi Gachagua were personal. But sometimes you may want to forgive those Raila supporters. The bitterness that was being emitted from Rigathi and his party, his allies, you'd think that was personal. But that is the same way William Ruto was behaving when he was the deputy president under Uhuru Kenyatta, when Uhuru went for a handshake with Raila Odinga. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what are some of the very issues that have become hindrance to a kind of unity between Raila and the Gachagua team? Basically, the lakeside and the mountain. Because there are people who still want to follow what Raila will tell them. Just like some people are saying that if Gachagua says it is Kalonzo, will vote for him. If he says it is Raila, will vote for him. Now, some of them, like Gachagua said, you are not accepted in the mountain. One of the things is fear of acceptance because of the hostility that was being preached. Raila is not very sure, because he has contested 4 times or 5 times, but they've never voted for him. But now the leaders who were in charge then were telling him, you are unaccepted. Less than 2 years, Raila is wondering, can I be accepted now? They declared me like a persona non grata. I was a scarecrow. Can I be accepted? So that is a question. And I know there are people who have voted for Raila from Mount Kenya ever since he started his politics. Even in the last election, they gave Raila over 1.4 million votes. That was a considerable number of votes when they had Gachagua and William Ruto. So that kind of the fear of rejection, will they be accepted? Number 2, there is suspicion of lack of trust. I think because of the historical betrayal. You know, we've been told, and I think it is a political fact, that when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga supported Kenyatta before he was released from detention, they worked for just a short period and they fell out. And then you know what followed up? People were killed in Kisumu. Those are facts. And it is said that Kenyatta betrayed Jaramogi. When Raila said Kibaki Tosha, they signed some clandestine MOU. Later, we were told that Raila was to become a prime minister. Kibaki said that was just a piece of paper. And they still add that into the baskets of betrayal from Mount Kenya. And of course, they say Raila has contested many times, even at a time when he now picked Martha Karua as his running mate. So they feel there is that suspicion. There's never trust between them. Now, the biggest one, I'm told of a story when Moi was the target, just like William Ruto is now the target. And the opposition had ganged up and they wanted to remove Moi from power. They all agreed. Martin Shikuku, Kenneth Matiba, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and they decided to rally behind Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. They agreed that we are going to build our politics around you. And the crowd was swelling. During that moment, Matiba fell sick and he went for treatment abroad. And I understand that within no time, people like Paul Mwite hatched a plan that with the kind of following that they were having, it was Matiba. They decided to convince Matiba to run for president. And they used a plan. I understand that when Matiba was coming back from treatment, because he was part of the opposition, people went to meet him. And it was a resounding reception. And when he saw people at the airport, he felt, this is the moment. All these people, for me, I'll be elected as the president. And they divided votes. Matiba came second, and they still count that as betrayal because they had assured Oginga Odinga of their support. So there is that lack of trust, historical betrayal. And that is why it is not very easy for Raila to go the other side. But I'm saying that if you want to move on, you have to forget all that. Try it out. Raila has nothing to lose anyway. If he goes there and fail, it will add into the basket, and we will know for real that these people can never vote for Raila. Even if he's defeated, if his votes are stolen, whatever happens, Raila has nothing to lose at all. So it is upon him. If he wants to try it out, it's okay. If he still wants to stay with Kalonzo, that is his opinion. Kenyans will decide where they want to vote. So all this reminder, ladies and gentlemen, are meant to sanitize William Ruto as the cleanest president. They never want us to think and remember those statements. They never want us to remember that William Ruto also was in charge when Azimio supporters were being killed. They never want us to remember that William Ruto was the mastermind behind Raila's stolen votes. And more so, William Ruto said that he's taking Raila to Bondo. And I think William Ruto is succeeding. He's almost succeeding in taking Raila to Bondo. He tried it by violence, and he realized that you try that kind of hard politics, it is like Raila is like, fish in water. It's like throwing fish into water. You will swim. Raila thrives well during such controversy. So Ruto decided, I have to bring Raila next to me, pacify him, treat him like a king. With that, I will persuade him to retire to Bondo. And William Ruto shall have succeeded. And one day you remember, William Ruto will tell you, I had promised to take Raila to Bondo. I didn't tell you the means. The means is now. Raila is a seasoned politician. He knows what is the best for his tribe, what is the best for his supporters, what is best for his family and for himself, and what is best for Kenya as a whole. We are waiting to hear the bombshell, the earthquake. But I want to caution you, there's nothing big that is coming. If you've listened to my analysis, what Raila will tell us is very simple. We are supporting the government, but we demand that Ruto end abductions. We demand that the SHA must work. We demand that the country must be given enough money for devolution. Just such kind of things. And we want to strengthen ODM, such kind of things. Raila has an already working formula with Ruto. He has his people in government. So I don't think there is much that is coming. There is no need for any anxiety. We already know what is going to announce. I don't think, but that is my take.